I never planned to ruin Christmas. I just wanted to feel seen again. My name is Delilah Moore. I'm 38, married for 11 years to a man named Grant Holloway. Grant is not cruel. That's what makes this harder to explain. He's quiet, dependable, emotionally reserved in a way that slowly drains a room without anyone noticing. Somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like his wife and started feeling like furniture. Christmas dinner was at my sister's house in Surrey. Big table, too many candles, forced laughter. Grant sat beside me, polite, distant, scrolling his phone whenever conversation didn't require him. Across the table sat Julian, my ex, the man I dated before Grant, the man who used to look at me like I mattered. I hadn't seen him in years, but the second our eyes met, something old and reckless stirred. I told myself it was harmless, just nostalgia, just wine, just the warmth of remembered attention. Julian laughed at my jokes, asked me questions, leaned in when I spoke. Grant noticed, of course. He always noticed everything. He just never reacted. That night, that silence felt unbearable. I wanted a reaction. I wanted proof I still existed to him. After dessert, when everyone drifted into smaller conversations, Julian and I stood near the kitchen doorway. He said, "You look exactly the same." I laughed, touched his arm. He didn't pull away. I glanced at Grant. He was watching. Not angry, not surprised, just watching. That's when I did it. I leaned in and kissed Julian. Not long, not dramatic, just long enough to cross a line. Long enough to be undeniable. Long enough to be cruel. The room went quiet. Someone cleared their throat. I waited for Grant to explode, to shout, to storm out, to demand explanations. Anything. Instead, he simply stood up, adjusted his jacket, and said, "I'm going to head home. Take your time." His voice was calm, almost gentle. He didn't look at Julian. He didn't look at me. He just walked out. That silence hit harder than any scream could have. On the drive home later, I rehearsed arguments in my head, justifications, apologies. When I walked into the house, Grant was sitting at the kitchen table with a notebook open. He looked up and said, "I've booked a hotel for the week. I'll move my things tomorrow." I laughed nervously. "You're overreacting." It was stupid. I was trying to get your attention. He nodded. "I know. That scared me." "Then why are you leaving?" He closed the notebook. "Because I finally paid attention." He told me he'd felt me slipping away for years, that he'd stayed because it was easier than confronting the truth, that seeing me kiss another man didn't make him angry. It made everything clear. A wife doesn't do that, he said, and a husband shouldn't need jealousy to matter. I cried. I begged. I told him I loved him. He listened, really listened. Then he said something I'll never forget. Love isn't the problem. Respect is. And once that's gone, staying just teaches you to hate yourself. The next morning, he packed quietly. No drama. No accusations. He left the house keys on the counter and wished me a peaceful holiday. I watched him go, realizing too late that I'd mistaken his silence for weakness. It was restraint. And once it broke, there was nothing left to negotiate. Julian texted me later. I didn't reply. The kiss meant nothing now. It had never been about him. It was about me wanting control, validation, proof of power. And I got it, just not the way I expected. Christmas lights stayed up for weeks after. I couldn't bring myself to take them down. The house felt louder without Grant, even though he'd rarely spoken. His absence echoed in every room. People ask what went wrong in my marriage. I tell them nothing dramatic. No screaming fights. No affairs, except the one moment I created. Just a slow erosion, capped by a single choice that revealed everything. If you're waiting for someone's reaction to prove your worth, be careful what you wish for. Sometimes silence isn't indifference. Sometimes it's the sound of someone finally choosing themselves.